So Valve actually did something cool recently. I don't mean that they added new weapons or any sizable content, but I mean that they let free-to-plays talk again. Now, I would thank Valve, but I'm not going to because those are basic game features. Nonetheless, we finally got Valve to do something. We pushed them in a direction that is actively beneficial for the game. But the best part is, this wasn't done because of a bunch of YouTubers demanded it. This was a small group of scattered TF2 players that got a movement going, and that's all it took seemingly. So if that's all it takes for things to start changing, then I want to talk. We can finally make TF2 competitive again. The real issue at hand is I play a lot of payload. Now under normal circumstances, this is fine. It's my favorite game mode with some of my favorite maps, but I feel like that's all I play. And I do believe that there is a reason for that. A lot of TF2 is spent waiting to play. Getting loaded into a game, waiting for the game to start when it loads in, having to wait the final bit for the game to stop counting, waiting for the game to allow me to move, all for the possibility of the game being a complete stomp. And since that's not long enough for auto balance to kick in, it just continues into the next game, and the games are much shorter now. I hate this. Some of my favorite maps are in Koth, and I feel like I can't play, but we should talk about why that is. Back in 2016, Meet Your Match came out to rapturous praise, and by rapturous praise I mean the game practically died that day. One of the things that got changed was the main way of getting into games, which was Quickplay. There's a whole myriad of reasons why people want Quickplay back, but the update got rid of one thing that I've always hated, the 45-minute time limit. Back in the day, games went on for 45 minutes. This sounds like a long time, but there's a reason for it. It allows you to sink your teeth in the game and actually play it in numerous ways. It allows for people to drop in and out with minimal issues. People had time to learn how to play and actually do stuff within the game. What a novel concept, actually playing the game. Now this might work for one game mode. Payload, for example, can take a long time to complete for both teams. Thunder Mountain, for example, can be 45 minutes with just the teams pushing the cart once if the teams are balanced enough. But TF2 is not one game mode. There's several others that fall under the same rule set, and that rule set just doesn't work for those. The one I'm going to talk about the most in this video is King of the Hill. But why King of the Hill exactly? Well, I think Koth is the most normal game mode in the game that allows you to see how it plays. A lot of the maps are very friendly to all the classes, it's simple to grasp and it's more approachable to new players. The games are fast and play closest to a more traditional shooter nowadays out of the entire roundup of game modes within TF2. I remember when I first started playing the game back in 2012 and I played Nucleus exclusively for a long time. I know that map isn't perfect, but the simpler game and map was very friendly for the time. If the games were quick stops, I wouldn't have been too happy. I would still play the game, but it definitely would have put a sour taste in my mouth. So you know what, if we got free-to-plays to talk again, I'm gonna advocate for an easy change to make. Make the round timer 45 minutes again. Remove the best of 3 limit so people can actually play the game properly again. Before, the games didn't have any of the extra timers that Meet Your Match has, and now Meet Your Match took so much time away from actually playing the game. In an update that was about playing matches, we are objectively playing less matches than before. So what I decided to do is get some footage and see how long it takes to play games of King of the Hill. More specifically, how much time I am spent waiting to play King of the Hill versus actually playing King of the Hill. There's quite a few problems with the system. The first thing is getting into a server that's about to end, or even worse, start the map vote count. After which you are then forced to either wait it out or re-queue for a different server. Now I know Quickplay could bring you into a game that was about to end, but at least there wasn't an insanely long pre-game timer. Then, after you can finally start playing the game. That is going to be frustrating to deal with after a while for new players. They're going to want to play something that's more consistent. Now while getting footage, I was able to record some games for around 20 minutes, which sounds good. This is a decent amount of time to be playing a map for a best of 3, since there are rare times where the teams are balanced and the game is being played normally. But there were times where I recorded a game and the footage would be 10 minutes long since the game was a stomp. This isn't footage of only the game, mind you. This is footage of me loading into the game, the pre-game timer, and the end game pieces as well, such as the humiliation after the game ends and starting the new round, with the map vote included. There's a fair bit of time where you're spent not playing the game. Another annoying thing is that a lot of the time the game map vote just goes back to the same map, which just further hones in on doing this isn't a good idea. If the people are just going to vote for the same map again, why should we even stop playing the game in the first place? If people want to play the same map multiple times in a row, they should just be able to play the same map with 45-minute round timers. But this brings in another issue. If the game map goes to a different map that a good chunk of people don't want to play, then several people leave the server. This is supposed to be counterbalanced with the pre-game timer, but sometimes during less busy hours, people don't join as fast, so the map isn't filled. So everyone in the server is practically waiting for nothing. Since the game is a best of 3, it could be a bit before people join in, and by that point, the game is over. If the games went on longer, the servers would be more populated, since people would be able to play the game for a long time, adding in on the time that people would be able to join the server and actually getting to play for a decent length of time. And we gotta talk about that pre-game timer. The pre-game timer usually lasts 60 seconds, but can go up to as much as 150 seconds from some of the footage that I've gathered. Now I will admit I'm not exactly sure what makes it change sporadically. It might be from people joining and leaving, but I'm not sure. But that is a good amount of time to not even be able to play the game. While it goes down quickly, it sticks to counting by seconds after a fair bit. I'm not sure how common this is, but I wouldn't be too happy as a new player in this moment if I had to wait almost 3 minutes just to play the game, after already having to load in. This is even worse for payload, since you have to wait through another long timer for Red Team to set up. This time adds up when you factor in the other time wasting mechanics as well. You have to wait 25 seconds for the humiliation round after the game ends, and it can happen again if both teams win once. Sometimes when you spawn in, you can't move, and some of the maps have stuff that doesn't open immediately when you go to it. The map vote timer lasts too long for something that people make their mind up within 10 seconds, and then I have to load into the game, which who knows how long that'll take, since that's dependent on several factors. And adding on this, when you die, you have to wait for the respawn counter. Let's go back to the footage for some good numbers and analysis. I'm going to look at the length of the games and how much time is spent not playing the game. All of my games were recorded within this rule set. Go to casual mode, select all maps for Koth, and just let casual mode take me where it does, with a caveat that I am not allowed to requeue. This is standard for a matchmaking system, and it's the way Valve wants me to find games. For my first game of Koth, I was on Lakeside. I had to wait 3 minutes and 55 seconds to load into the game. I waited another 28 seconds to load into the second match and 29 seconds loading into the next. The end of the game had me wait 52 seconds, which all adds up to 5 minutes and 44 seconds out of a 22 minute and 40 second game, adding up in total to 16 minutes and 56 seconds. 1/4 of the game that I just played I spent not playing, and I did not include my respawn timers. That's not good, but in fairness, before I loaded into the game had me load into a game that just ended and I had to wait again. But doesn't that just prove my point that you get into games when they end when you queue? Let's look at a different example. My next example is a game of Badlands. The first 1 minute and 23 seconds are spent waiting for the game to start, 25 seconds for the second round to start, and the end game map vote count for another 52 seconds, adding up to 2 minutes and 40 seconds not playing the game, for a game that lasted in total 10 minutes and 16 seconds. I was given, at most, 7 minutes and 35 seconds to actually play the game, which is absolutely nothing. And of course, I didn't play perfectly, and neither did the average player. There's a good chance someone in that server played less than 5 minutes. Let's take a look at another game. The load time to get into the Shark Bay game I played was 58 seconds. The first match end is 25 seconds and the second another 25 seconds. The map vote is 52 seconds, adding up to 2 minutes and 40 seconds out of an 18 minute and 6 second round. The final time being 15 minutes and 26 seconds. Now this is better-ish, but the main problem is that I'm playing this in a mostly empty server, which again is going to restart once the game is over. The lobby never filled up, and I don't get the satisfaction of playing a full lobby with people on the map with how the game is supposed to work normally. In other matchmaking systems for other games like Overwatch or Call of Duty or Marvel Rivals, which yes, I know are all radically different games, the matchmaking is more consistent. You're usually in full lobbies, you're usually in matches that last a similar amount of time as each other, but TF2 doesn't work like that. That is what TF2 is trying to emulate, but it doesn't translate because TF2 isn't designed to work like that. There was a reason why the games lasted for 45 minutes, because if the game was designed with a best of 3 format, it would have been in the game in the first place. Are we really going to argue that making a new rule set for a game that was directly built for 9 years straight on a different working rule set is going to work properly? We've been bot free for a good while now, and all of this has really shown off the problems of casual mode that we haven't been able to see before. I'm not done with free-to-play stalking and bots being removed. I want some real beneficial improvements, and a good starting point is a simple game change-up. If there's going to be a simple solution for finding servers, it shouldn't be awful, because this is what the new player is going to look at when they first boot up Team Fortress 2. Why wouldn't they? What new player is going to look at a community server finder that's existed since the Clinton administration? This thing is a relic in the modern day. The average new player is not looking at this, and if we want people to stick around, we have to have a good first impression for the newer players. I'm not asking for anything crazy, I'm just asking for the basics, and I think this is a good place to start. I'm not sure how hard adding in ad hoc connections are, and I'm not sure how easy any of the other things are either, but I feel like this is a good first step into a better future. Now, I'm not saying it'll get into the game quickly, but the discourse around unmuting free-to-plays was only here for a bit. Well, it was here the whole time, but there was never a huge movement for it, but we got that, so I think we should get some more stuff back from the Quickplay days, and I think we should start going for some of the easier stuff first. I think the best one to do would be to increase the timer in Koth, or even better, make 45-minute rounds the standard. We've been playing with Meet Your Match for longer than Quickplay was around, and I hate to break it to you guys, this system sucks. Even ignoring all the other shit that makes Quickplay better, you have a real amount of time to play and less time to wait in the beginning. The reason people leave a game right after it ends is because most of the time it's just faster to find a different server that's already in-game. It's objectively faster most of the time to just re-queue. And I don't blame the average person doing this either. The main way that the average person finds game is not good, and it devalues community servers. I understand that the average person is going to casual and not community servers. Like, I get it, the server browser is terrifying because it was made before most of you were fucking born. But if the alternative to finding matches that is easier isn't good, then that isn't going to make people want to stay and check out community servers. If TF2 wants to survive in the future, it has to be approachable, it has to be easier to get into for new players, and it has to have the best first impression as much as possible. And as of right now, I don't think it's in the state to do that. The gameplay of something like Koth, or even Control Points to an extent, goes against how casual mode functions. It doesn't let players sink their teeth into a match and try out some different playstyles. It's all about playing as quickly as possible and going into the next match all to get some XP that does absolutely nothing. I want to play Harvest on Not Skyle. I want to play Sawmill and Nucleus again. I don't give a shit if these are technically bad maps. I feel like they almost got deleted now, and I have to find the servers running them. Yes, I know they're always here for casual, but it's not long enough to really do anything with. So my final takeaway is, I want 45-minute round timers again, without the best of 3 format. I want smoother map voting like community servers have. I want a better matchmaking system, so that way new people can experience and enjoy the game like I used to. TF2's future is in a weird spot right now. I'm hopelessly hopeful at the time of writing this script. I'm happy with the new tools that the community has been given in the past few months, but we need something to help out with the main game. Look, all I'm saying is that I've been playing TF2 Classic a lot lately, and one thing I hate about going back to normal TF2 is dealing with the short round timers. There's a reason they don't use the best of 3 format in that game. It flows nicely, the map selection process is much more smooth, there's less waiting to play, and more matches are played, which means it's more fun. So this is the part of the video where I say you should be joining my servers. But I don't have them yet, so what I'm going to do is actually encourage everyone watching this to use something that isn't casual mode. I'm not sure how many of you use casual mode versus the community servers, but if you don't play community servers, I recommend that you do so. Casual mode has a lot of flaws, most of which actually get solved just by going to a community server. As for stuff I'm working on right now, I actually got a few TF2 Classic videos in the pipeline, but I do want to do some interesting stuff with TF2 real soon. I just gotta find the time for it. Other than that, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time.